What about flowers? What type of flowers?
What does it matter? Any kind you do under the circumstances.
What do you mean, what does it matter? Everything matters, Peter.
Then what about daisies? Those were always her favorites.
Daisies. Those are so common. You could go pick those in the field across the street.
So what does it matter, Mary, especially now?
It matters, Peter, because people are coming. People that know us. People that judge our character by what we surround ourselves with. Daisies, Peter, really. We are not the kind of people that have daisies at such occasions.
Then what about roses? Roses are nice. We seem like the kind of people who would have roses at such occasions, right?
Again, rather common, although you're at least beginning to think beyond the vacant lot across the street. I was thinking perhaps some white and mauve irises. That's more along the lines of what I envision.
So that makes us iris people?
Yes, I suppose we are. I still can't believe it. I can't believe this is happening. That we're here planning this so soon. We're picking out flowers and talking calmly as if this happens every day. It's so surreal.
Mary, this is how it will be for a while. We'll go about the duties expected of us, and one will hit us and we'll break down. That's what the doctor told you to expect. We'll get through this, I promise you will.
It's true what they say about children, Peter, that we're only borrowing them for a little while, that they never really belong to us. Sure, you think you have them in your grasp and that they'll be happy and innocent forever. And then something like this happens and you realize that they never really were yours. They never were.
I can still see her sitting atop that first coin we got her. Wasn't she 8? Sitting in that little red saddle, smiling from ear to ear, and a sweet, precious little smile. And reading to her before bed. Read it again, Daddy, read it again. I see it like it was yesterday.
It's almost like being given a beautiful porcelain doll to play with. A doll with rosy cheeks and shining brown eyes, ebony curls cascading down her back. Even though you know she's not yours to keep, and that someday she'll be gone. Once they're ripped from your hands, oh, the anguish, Peter. The fact that I knew all along that she wasn't mine to keep does not ease that anguish. It's not fair, Peter. It's just not fair.
Let me get you a drink, Mary.
We were doing so well cutting back.
This isn't the time to get back on the wagon, dear. These are special circumstances.
Here, I think I'll go lie down for a while. I'm supposed to talk to Katya about the caterers this afternoon. Can you tell her, please, that we'll do it later? I just need to let this all go for a little while.
I'm glad, Mary. You need to rest. I'll tell Katya we'll handle everything later.
Excuse me, sir.
Katya, I didn't see you there.
I know you're very busy making arrangements.
No bother, Katya. Mrs. Mary is laying down for a while. She will speak with you this afternoon about the caterers. If you could look up some companies, call around and get some quotes, that would help hurry things along.
Yes, sir. Of course. I know this is not a good time with everything that's been happening, but I must speak with you.
Of course. What is it, Katya?
Oh, I feel so sorry about what happened with Andrea. She's precious to me. She's like a daughter. I feel so bad. I had to talk with you 2 days ago before this happened.
Katya, it's all right. Please tell me what's on your mind.
Sir, it's my little girl. She lives in Florida. She's having a baby.
Please continue, Katya.
And I have a plane ticket to fly to her tomorrow. It's a ticket I can't give back. And my daughter, she needs me. This is my first grandchild. And her husband, well, he works all the time. She needs help with the baby. She needs her mama. I will tell you, this is not a good time to go. I'm so sorry I waited so long to tell you that. I did not know that this would...
None of us expected this to happen, including you, and it's been hard on all of us. But of course you can go. I'm sorry, I didn't know you had a daughter.
Oh, I have 3 daughters. How about I don't talk about my life? It's not my job. Sir, I've gone 1 week, but it is all right. I stay.
No,
I
of
understand.
course not, Katya. We will be fine.
Oh, thank you. But yes, really, she will be upset.
You let me handle Mary. She's not herself right now, Katya, but if she were, she would want you to go. If you could narrow down a few caterers, I would appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I will do it for you. Sir, thank you. You are a good boss. You're a true man.
Marge, thanks for coming.
Of course, darling. How is she doing?
She's doing all right, I guess, under the circumstances. She'll function for a while she's focusing on the preparations, and then she breaks down.
That sounds pretty normal. I'll bet it'll be that way for a while.
That's what I told her. That's what her doctor said. He gave her a sedative. She's laying down in the bedroom now. I will let her know you're here.
No, Peter, don't wake her. If she's resting, that's the best thing for her. But how are you holding up, sport?
I'm just numb. This has just turned our lives completely upside down. I don't know. I find it easier to shut down. Emotionally, I guess, anyway.
Everybody reacts differently. No one reacts the same. You're trying to be strong for Mary. But if you need to talk, if you need anything at all, just call me. I'm your friend as well as Mary's.
Thanks, Marge. You are a true friend.
So, how did you first hear?
The state police. They said Andy and this Charles. Chuck, I can't even remember his first name for God's sake. They were headed for Las Vegas. She'd just taken her midterms. He picked her up and they were headed for Vegas. He was speeding and the rest you know.
I cannot imagine the shock. 17. Darling, what can I do to help?
Well, we were having some conversation about choosing flowers before you came. We had some ridiculous conversation about why daisies are inappropriate. I don't see why it matters. They were always her favorites. But Mary says they're so common. I can't understand, given the circumstances, why such a small thing would be so important. You know, Marge, sometimes the need to maintain the image seems ridiculous to me, especially at a time like this. I mean, God, I know I'm as guilty as Mary in that area. I've had half of my savings, the vacation homes in Europe. But God, Marge, I was a motorhead in high school. Sometimes I'd love to just be lying under a car covered in grease at a local garage.
That absolutely amazes me. I cannot picture you under a car. I guess you just don't know people sometimes.
Did you know I went to Harvard under an engineering scholarship? I was a whiz at taking things together and taking things apart and putting them back together. I wanted to work for NASA, if you could believe it. That was the dream anyway. Then came the lullaby of Wall Street. Come on, Marge. Don't you ever get sick of it? The social obligations, keeping up with the Rockefellers. Don't you ever just want to be walking on a beach in a torn t-shirt, eating raw coconut or something?
lying on a beach on the Riviera, having a pina colada served to me in a coconut by a young, beautiful cabana boy in a torn t-shirt. Oh, Peter, I'm sorry. I do know what you mean, but between you and me, and if you repeat this, I'll hunt you down like a dog. I am a book nut, and sometimes the idea of stocking books in a little out-of-the-way bookshop sounds very attractive to me. But then I think of clocking in at 8 and out at 5, taking a bus to my dreary flat in the sticks, and warming up a can of beans. And the charm wears off very quickly. Oh, Peter, I have to admit I am very content being idle, and I adore being rich. But I can understand how the overgrown wild grass on the other side of the broken down fence can look, if not green, refreshing.
Oh, Marge, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were here. I drifted off for a moment. I'm sorry, I'm such a mess.
Oh, don't be silly, darling. My God, what you've been through. You look beautiful, considering.
Marge, would you like some coffee or a scotch and soda? I was about to have one.
Well, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, right? Yes, I'll have a scotch and soda, Peter. Light on the soda, darling.
If you young ladies will excuse me, I have some calls to make. I'll leave you two to chat.
Of course, Peter. Good talking with you. How are you holding up, dear dear? You really do look wonderful, considering that you've been through the ringer.
God, Marge, you don't lie.
Well, I've been through 4 husbands. I should be pretty good at it by now. But seriously, you do look wonderful.
Was the formaldehyde in the liquor? I was doing so well staying off the stuff before. I don't know if it's hard right now.
I'm so sorry about Andrea. Peter was telling me how you hurt her.
It's hard to even think of the moment that we found out. I've been in shock ever since.
You just let it all out. You know, you have to know, we all go through things. I pray every day. Yes, I pray, don't look so shocked. That Mark will get through Yale safely and without things happening. He makes that drive home and back twice a year. Last year at Christmas, I wanted to send a car for him because I had the worst feeling. I just worry constantly that something will happen. We all have our fears, Mary.
But there's a difference, Marge. Mine have just been realized. Lucky me.
Mary, you have to know that everything is going to be okay. It'll just take time.
I found the nicest dress for her. I had to get out of the house this morning. So Peter and I went for a short walk downtown. We were passing by the Armani shop, and there it was in the window. Oh, it's beautiful, stylish, refined, and I think will provide enough coverage.
I'm sure it will look beautiful on her. Where is it? Can I see it?
It's lying over there. I'm tired of breaking down like this.
Oh, Mary, Mary. These times will happen over and over and over. My goodness. What about, is his name Charles Chuck? What about the boy? Where did she meet him?
Oh, I don't know. But not at Cornell. waiter at an off-campus restaurant. I had my fears about her going off to college so soon. She was always brilliant, you know, and wanted to get on with things. She was so young. I shouldn't have let her go. I should have sent her off to Europe for a year. She had barely learned to drive.
And his parents?
Oh, I guess they're farm people or something. I guess they live in Wisconsin or North Dakota or one of those other dark, icy states.
Farm people. What do they farm?
Chickens or catfish or something.
Catfish? I didn't even know they farmed catfish in North Dakota.
Well, whatever. What's the difference? How could I guess that she tried to drive to Vegas with some catfish farm boy waiter? Who thinks their precious dog would pull something like that? That was the last thing I worried about. Anyway, Peter and I were just discussing the flowers. Can you believe he suggested daisies?
Yes.
Daisies of all things. I know they were always her favorites, but daisies, Marge, really? They're such peasant flowers.
Peasant flowers? I didn't even know we still have peasants in America. Oh, Mary, do you really think now is the time to be so picky? That whatever you and Peter decide is appropriate? I guess daisies are rather common. What about peonies?
I was thinking perhaps irises. They're so dignified.
Well, I think that would be perfect. What are you planning for afterwards, or are you planning anything?
I think we'll just gather in the club. Simple buffet. Yes, I think a simple buffet would be dignified. I'm supposed to talk to Katya about the caterers this afternoon. Do you recommend any?
Mary, about Katya, she spoke with me earlier. I'm afraid there's been an emergency in her family, so I've given her permission to fly to Florida to be with them. But it's all right, Mary. You'll get through this. She needs to do this, Mary. She's been a good employee, and I told her it
Well,
was.
of course she's been a good employee, Peter. But of all the times.
As we well know, we can't take the times for emergencies to occur. Were you two talking about flowers? Whatever you decide is fine with me.
I think definitely irises. They're outrageously pricey this time of year, but the dignity they provide is such an occasion would be a great comfort to me. And if money can't buy dignity, then what good is it?
I think you're wise. That's an excellent idea. I'd love to see the dress. Where is it?
Oh,
Why, here it is.
oh my God! You can't possibly be thinking of wearing that!
Yes, Mother, I am thinking of wearing this. No, I am wearing this.
No, you are not! You have put us through quite enough, young lady. Should I say young woman? Lady is hardly appropriate. You have mortified me and your father, having been called by the police because our underage daughter was running away to Vegas with some vagabond waiter who doesn't have the sense to drive the speed limit. Now, you will do what we say. I will salvage every last bit of dignity I can to pull you through this mess. I have placed a refined and fashionable Armani dress on your bed. It should provide enough coverage so that those few people who haven't yet heard about your bad choice won't guess. You will wear that for the wedding. Am I clear?
Clear as rain, Mother. But no, I will not be wearing that. And here's why. I came back here because as much as I find trivial everything you hold sacred, I have no desire to completely shatter you with that. But keep this in mind. I turn 18 in 4 months, and sure as say, if need be, I will wait until then. And Chuck and I shall be married under a neon canopy, or at a drive-through chapel, with our baby in our arms. If instead you are asking me to stay here and get married in your dignified fashion, you should know that I shall be wearing this. Oh, and I shall be carrying daisies.
But, yeah.